Is my mic being picked up? Yes, it is. Good. It is. So, bit of videos. Oh, I forgot I have to swap to this. And go to that. Manage videos. Oh, no, this is here. 20 here. This there. $17, $20, $16. This there. It's 17. Okay, good. Yeah, got everything. And now it's the 12th of December. On the 12th of December. Hello, Surplus. Happy New Year. And a late Merry Christmas to you. 13. How have you been? How was your holidays? 13. 13. Good. 14. Just give me a second. I'm still doing something here. But I just wanted to start up stream. 15. 16. I'm a bit sick, so sorry if I start just coughing randomly. Hello. I'm the asshole. That's the first. Okay, no problem. That is, I don't even know. There we go. Sorry, I had to go get something. Oh. What is... Okay, sounds good. I'm glad that you're fixing your sleep schedule, Surplus. Make sure not to ruin that. I saw you guys reading it, yeah. How's it been? Also, Dianea, Happy New Year. And, late Merry Christmas to you. I know, we said it to each other, but still, I can say it here, now that we're about halfway through. Okay, I was like, I swear I just saw you guys open that today, like... That was gonna be crazy. We'll see how my voice holds out, because it was, yesterday it was a bit difficult, but yeah. That will be literally, well, yeah! That's what I was thinking. Like, I saw you guys only open that today. I think that's where reload. If anyone's gonna ruin my sleep schedule, it's you. Surplus, don't do it! Okay, you can always watch the VODs. Okay, getting good sleep is good. It's something better than I do. I can never get a good sleep schedule in. We were on it every day since the 2nd. So yesterday... Oh, no, okay. It's since the 2nd. So 2nd, and 3rd, and 4th. Okay. I'm okay missing Chapter 2 stuff, but the moment you start Chapter 3, my sleep schedule becomes irrelevant. Okay. Well, we'll see how that goes. I think I looked at the tips last time, right? Yeah. Is there really a Shion? Yeah, okay. We watched all of these. Fox is boring as shit. Well, can't do anything about that. Okay. I guess we can continue. If there is anything else, I don't think so, but we can go ahead. But yeah, Surplus, last time with from what I remember, what happened with Chapter 2 last time, it was not, alright, good night, Surplus. Thanks for stopping in and saying hello. It was not stuff I think you wanted to see. It definitely made me question a lot why Keiichi is the GOAT. But Dionea says that it'll come later, so I'm sure it does, but Keiichi did them very, very questionable things. From what I recall. When I traveled, I did not drink as much water as I usually do, compared to... He's the GOAT, trust. We'll see what happens. I did not drink as much water as I usually did, so it's soon enough. Okay, if it's soon enough, that'll be good. So I'm a bit dehydrated, so I'm probably gonna be drinking more water than usual. Let's go. Continue. But yeah, I guess before I start, I'll just say my vacation was good. Yeah, we're all done with the intro stuff. Nice. My vacation was good. I hope you guys was as well. If there's anything you want to tell me about your holidays, I'll be happy to hear. But yeah, mine was great. I went back home and saw family, and it was always a cool time. Yes, Happy New Year. Happy New Year. Hoping for a good year. Last year was pretty good year. I'm hoping I can make this one better. But aren't we all? Aren't we all hoping to make this one a better year than the previous? We'll see if it does happen. I might have explained this before, but Pizzette at our school is really just an exercise in disorder. After some random warm-ups, the rest of the time is spent doing whatever. A great start with dialogue. You're free to cause a ruckus or just fall asleep.
よくは知らないけど、教育委員会とかに教育指導要項とかあるだろ？何歳ならこれくらいの運動能力はなければいけないみたいなさ。
圭一さんが何を言ってるのか難しくてさっぱりですわよ。
Her mouth's not moving.
先生の授業の進め方のルールみたいなものなの。
Why was that? Her voice sounded deeper than
都会の
usual.
軟弱な連中にはそういうのは必要なのだけどさ。田舎育ちのうちらが身体能力で劣ると思う？僕たちは圭一が思ってるよりも運動神経はいいのです。
Come to think of it, they might be right. If we all lined up for a race, there's a good chance I'd finish dead last if I didn't start off well. Let's just pray that when a brutal penalty game is at stake, the 100-meter dash isn't a club
では
activity.
そういうことで、俺はテレビの見過ぎで実に素敵に眠い。睡眠時間の補給をさせてもらうぜ。空腹絶頂の4次元目。今寝ずにいつ寝るよ。
Does he saying starved like he's hungry or he's starved of sleep? Hey, Ruben! Happy New Year! Thank you for the wishes. I hope your holidays were well spent. Mine was pretty good. I'm definitely glad to be back playing some more Higurashi. Interested to see where this goes. Got through the intro stuff last time, so it's good to come back and see what I guess creepy stuff, I guess, happens. I tried to think of a better word than creepy, but that's the only one I could think of. But yeah, hope your holidays were well spent. Definitely well spent. That's great. I'm happy to hear that. I'm inclined to believe the same thing with me as well. I'm very happy with how my holidays went. But back on the grind, going to work tomorrow. You know how it is. We have to make money. Have to go back to everything, to the norm, I guess. Sigma work grind. Yes. You know, yeah. That is me. That emoji you put, that is me when I'm at work. Still on holiday mode? Yeah. Good thing about work, my work though, is like I'm kind of forced to do stuff. It's not like I choose to do stuff on my own time. It's like when I'm there, because I'm working with a mentally handicapped person, so it's it can be, you know, it's easy to get back into work mode. As I began to sprawl out on top of a pipe, Mion grabbed me by the collar.
ちまさかおとなしく眠らせてもらえると思ってる？
その顔で言われたら、おとなしく寝る方が勇気がいりそうだ。
Good grief. Which means it's gonna start
さ
again.
て、このまま井戸端会議でチャイムを待つなんて。
Oh yeah, they
熱き
still
血潮
have
の限っ
not
た私
done
たちには無
the...
理だよね。
They still haven't done the last game that all of them need to do to get the $500, was it? Or 500 or 100 yen? I can't remember what it was.
部活タイム行ってみよっか。
But it was money.
チェ、案の定来やがったな。
100 yen, so worth it. I can't remember what it was. I can't remember. You know, 100 yen, maybe they're broke entirely, and that's the only coin that they can find. And then it's like, it's worth, when you have nothing, it is worth like infinite more than what you have, right? It's an infinite bank account increase. That's not even $1. Okay, anything times 0 is infinity. So, 100 yen could be big.
今日のゲームはなんだ？
Now that this is happening, taking a nap is impossible. Not just that, with this sleep-deprived head of mine, I'm as good as mincemeat. That's not even true? How is it not true? I have to get my brain into gear.
それより今日の罰ゲームは何かなの
I
方が
said-
先だと思うな。
Okay. I think I said it wrong. Anything... If you have anything, right, compared to 0, that thing is infinitely times more than 0. That's what I meant to say. Well, I found out my new anime obsession over the holidays. What's your new anime obsession? There's a couple I still need. Like, there's a couple that I started, but I didn't finish. Like, I just can't go to finish it. Like, I started Freerun. I need to finish it. I need to finish 2B Hero X still. And there's a couple Manhwa as well. Hi, Indie Man. Happy New Year. Hope your holidays were spent well. I know it wasn't the best for you beforehand, but hope everything is, you know, at least your holidays were somewhat peaceful. Monster. I heard that one's like a classic, isn't it? I'm well now? That's good. And Pluto. I haven't heard of Pluto.
Lena は分かってるね。
And so what does she say? Okay, yeah.
今日も飛びっ
Don't
き
they
りの用意
always
して
do
るよ。
that? What are we talking about? Well, Ruben's just telling us about, you know, what he got into, like what anime he got into over the holidays. And then I was explaining to Dianea that I misspoke, okay? Pluto's an Astro Boy arc adaptation. Okay. She began to announce the cruel penalty game with a grand spinning flourish. But before she could do that,
ごめんなさいです。僕はちょっとやりたいことがありますです。
of all people, it was Rika-chan announcing her non-participation. Even rare events do eventually occur. Losing her timing, Mion spun like a top as she tumbled to the ground.
あれれれれれれれれ、何？どうしたの？今日は調子悪いの？
What are they doing? I don't know. She was spinning. So what made you start watching those, Ruben? Like, because you said it's your obsession. Was it a trailer that got you into it? If anyone hasn't seen them, I highly recommend. I think Monster is going to be my new fan trailer or poster. I don't know what I want to start with. Oh, do you make posters as well? I don't think I've ever seen any.
あ、そうか。みーちゃん、綿流しの練習だよ。そうですわよ。
Okay, so the Watanagashi is coming up. So, I think last time, when the Watanagashi happened, that's when stuff started to get weird. So we'll see what happens this time with the Watanagashi. If anyone hasn't seen them, okay, yeah.
今度の日曜日ですもの。リカは猛特訓中なのですわよ。
I did one for Higurashi, but there's a spoiler in it. Okay. Do you do these posters physically or
最
digitally?
近は頑張りすぎてお腕が痛いのです。
そっか。
Any new games, Indie Man, that you've been interested in? And what about you, Diane? I didn't ask. Like, what did you? I did say after I played Monster Train on stream, I've been playing so much Monster Train 2. I'm up to Covenant 7 now. Like, did it all. Yeah, you saw it. Yeah, I've been playing so much. I'm having so much fun with it. You dig? What do you mean you dig? I'm telling you how far I get.
じゃあ仕方ないな。全員揃わないなら仕方ない。
It's called Escape. Yeah, you're a lot. No, I'm saying that I've played the game that much. Okay, I played that. Okay, I could play something for like 9 billion hours. Okay, and then get to whatever point. What's your favorite clan? I like the Underlegion, the mushrooms. I like spamming out like 9 billion mushrooms and having them get a huge stack and then killing everything. Yeah. Wait, what's called? Okay, Escape from Ever After. Is that the game, Indie Man?
今日は各自
It is
のんび
really
りしようかね。
I think the candles can be cool, but they're very difficult for me to get. I got one good run on them, but they're kind of weird. Escape from Ever After. Let me see what the game is. Escape from Ever After. Oh, it's oh, there's a demo. Okay, so it's a. I was actually gonna do a video. Oh, okay. I mean, I just was looking at it on Steam. I wasn't doing anything. Well, Sakonia and Nier Automata. Oh, okay, Nier is cool. I haven't done it myself.
ごめんなさいなのです。でも頑張りますですよ。
It's 2 minutes. I've been okay. I said that what I would do is be more strict with the videos. So yeah, I would say you put a 5-minute thing because it's like I've been it's too vague, and I think some people do some things and some people put the other options. But it's like no, I'm gonna be strict on what it says. If it's like more than a minute by like a bunch, which I would say 2 minutes is, then put it with the less than 5 minutes. Both are on big sales, like half off. Oh, okay, yeah. It's funny about Sakonia, even though it's like not gonna get any updates. At least maybe it didn't get any updates. Maybe it will now that he's finished with Resident Evil.
レナたちも応援してるからね。
When Mion announced that today's club activity was cancelled, Rika-chan and Satoko headed off behind the school building. Maybe in a decade it will. Do you know what his next project is? What is it? Ryukishi? Is that his name? Only I was left alone, completely clueless as to what everybody was
一
talking
体何
about.
なんだ？リカちゃんは何か大会前とかで特訓をしてるのか？
I mean, he just finished Silent Hill F, so it'll be, I'm sure he'll announce or like see what he's doing later. You'll probably take
リ
some
カ
time.
ちゃんは綿流しの巫女さんだから奉納の演舞をすることになっててね。その練習
So the
なの。
5 option? Yes, the 5 option.
順を追って説明してくれ。まず綿流しってなんだ？ 次に巫女さんってなんだ？最後に奉納演舞ってなんだ？
あれケイちゃん家には回覧板とか行ってない？書いてなかった？今度の日曜に渡流しのお祭り
Yeah,
がある
so
って。
he still doesn't know what the Watanagashi is, so we've definitely gone back in time or something. Huh? Come to think of it, I have a feeling that mom did say something about it during dinner the other day.
綿流しはね、毎年6月の日曜日に神社でやるお祭りなの。とっても賑わうんだよ。
なるほどな。しかし渡流しってのは変わった名称だな。
Okay, I'll watch the video, Indie Man, when I get to like a pause point. Or like, yeah.
あれか？灯籠流しみたいに何かを供養し
Like when they
て川に流
change
すのか？
scenes. Just remind me if I forget.
さすがはケイちゃん、察しがいいね。
Excuse me?
綿流しはね、名前の通り綿を流すんだよ。
You forgot to breathe, yeah. Yeah, as I said, sorry if I sound a bit strange. It's because I'm a bit sick and still am a bit sick. What am I saying? I was a bit sick and I still am a bit sick. Yeah. Hi,
分かっ
Teacup.
てんのはね。
Happy New Year. What is that emote that you put in? I just hovered over it to check what it was. What is that? It's Cuphead and who?
だからお布団の供養に
What
な
are
る
you
のかな。
playing? It's the same game from last time. You've come in and seen me play this game before.
祭壇にもお布団を積み上げているし。
ご先祖様とか戦没者とか針とか
Bendy
包
from
丁とかの供養ってのは聞いたことあ
Oh
るけど、
yeah, okay.
布団の供養ってのは初耳だな。どんな言われがあるんだ？
Mion tilted her head pensively.
言われなんてほど難しいのはないと思うな。
You like my yaoi emote? I mean, I don't think I hate it, right? I don't think like I'll be like I have a visceral hatred
この
to
辺っ
it.
て冬の寒さはか
I
なり
wouldn't
厳しい
say
から
I
ね。
like it
布
necessarily.
団
That
と
like
か
you know
斑
I
点とかの防
enjoy
寒具
that.
を特に大切にし
I
たからじゃ
wouldn't
ない
look
か
at it
な。
and be like, oh yeah, that's a cool picture. And be like, that's a picture. It's pink.
ああ、なるほどな。
Why is it Cuphead and Bendy?
つまり冬の間お世話になった布団に感謝しようってわけだ。で、巫女さんが
There's
供養
definitely
を
a
して
lot more to this
最後に
festival
川
that
に
they're
流すわ
not
けだ。
explaining. Like, they wouldn't have this festival. I can't remember if it was like I know there's the Onikakushi, right, and the demons and all that, but I can't remember exactly why they had this festival. Like, I think it was explained, and I can't remember. Is what it was.
それが綿流しってわけだろ。
Mion and Rena indicated that I had the correct answer with a round of applause.
でねでね。
Okay, Teacup. I'll give points for a bendy straw joke. What is a bendy straw
その
joke?
供養をする巫女さんの役がリカ
Like
ちゃん
what
なの。
is I understand it's bendy, but what about the straw comes in?
へえ、リカちゃんが巫女なんだ。言われてみれば
It's
リ
just
カ
the
ちゃんって
tip.
ど
Oh,
ことなく
okay.
神秘的な雰囲気あるよな。
だよねだよね。リカちゃんの巫女さん姿ってね、はうかいいんだよ。
It certainly does seem like it would suit her. Yeah, it might be cute.
ようやく話が見えてきたぞ。リカちゃんの言う特訓ってのはこの巫女さん役の練習なわけだな。
I'm talking about the really drink soda. Oh, okay. So well, I think you guys were talking about different things then.
そういうこと。巫女さんが布団をお祓いする一連のセレモニーを奉納演舞って呼
How do
ぶ
you
んだけどね。
purify futons?
それの練習なんだよ。結構大変なんだなこれが。
巫女さんはね、祭事用の大きな桑を持って演舞をするんだけど、それがね、リカちゃんにはすっごく重いらしいの。
リカちゃんってちっちゃいもんな。
Last time, they kind of, they didn't talk about much about the actual dance or for the ritual that she was performing. They just kind of like, oh wow, it's so mesmerizing. Which I understand, like that's probably how Keiichi looked at it. But I feel like there's definitely what she does is important.
その思い食わってど
Like
の
I
くらい
understand that's
重い
how
んだ
Keiichi views it, but I think as it goes on, I would like if he explains the specifics of what she does. Because if I remember last time, it was like, oh, it's so mesmerizing the way she did her moves or something like that. But I want him to explain what she does.
かなり重いらしいよ。
Fun fact, did you know I'm insane? Perfect. Is that true, Indie Man? I didn't know that. That is a fun fact. Dr. Pepper is the... I've had Dr. Pepper before,
リカちゃんは
but I can't remember. I feel like every time I've had Dr. Pepper, I've like had it, and then I forget the taste. And then I'm like, I haven't had Dr. Pepper before, but I have had Dr. Pepper before. I just forgot the taste, you know? But I just tell people I've never had it before. Wait a minute. That's way too heavy. Forget about Rika-chan. That'll be rough even for me.
催事用の神聖なクワだからね。間違って落としちゃったら大変らしいし。
まあ年に一度
People
のお勤
consider
め
you
だからね。
crazy. All it takes is one bad day.
私たちは陰ながら応援するしかないね。大丈夫。去年もちゃんとやり遂げたんだから。
そっか。じゃあさ、せめて応援してやろうぜ。それくらいならいいだろう。
Or a good one. I'd hope a good day doesn't make you crazy. I was rather curious exactly about how she practiced. Mion laughed as she shook her head.
ほっといてあげなよ。ケイちゃんが来たらリカちゃんは可愛くなっちゃうから特訓ができなくなるよ。
What? Rika-chan will get all cute and won't be able to practice. I think, yeah. Does she go demon mode or something? And then, like, if you go back, she goes back to her normal mode?
リカちゃんがね、努力とかそういうのを人に見せるのが好きじゃないの。ね。そっとしておいてあげて。
That seems a bit sus to me. Of the Joker face, yeah. When you accept it and enjoy it. I would like to think that wouldn't make you crazy. If you accept and enjoy the good day. Even though they're always cool and aloof, Rika-chan has times when she sweats while giving it her all. Because she was always so well put together, she didn't want people to see an ungainly side of her. It's not like I could understand that feeling. It's not like I couldn't understand that
俺
feeling.
にできるのは成功を祈ることだけってことか。
How dare you accuse? Isn't that... I'm not accusing, I'm theorizing, okay? If I would be accusing, then I would be saying it out in the open for everyone to hear. But if I'm saying it just for me, alright, and Mion and Rena here can't hear it, then I'm not accusing anything. You guys are just all the voices in my head. It's that simple. Like, the many voices speaking to me in my head. Oh. Okay, guys. So, this is the first time I get to do this. So you see, during Christmas, for some reason, my uncle gave me a thing. 100 perfect cat jokes. It was a card of just cat jokes. So every time I turn to a cat from now on, I have to say a cat joke. So, this is the first one. Here we go. What do we have? Okay. What would you drink at the Mad Catter's tea party? What do you think, guys? Kitty! Yo!
頑張れ
Wow. These are actually worse than I thought. I'm just looking at these other ones. These are, like, actually horrible. What am I looking at?
フルでリカ 応援してるから
Yeah, I'm gonna just... What is it? I'm not gonna spoil myself on what comes next, but wow, these are bad. Who's laughing at that? I don't think anyone is. Well then, I climbed onto the pipe and plopped down on my side. There he goes to
フ
sleep.
レーフレー
What?
リカちゃ
He's
ん
saying this while going to sleep? Burn that! It's not a book, it's a deck of cards!
さらに応援の電波を高めるためこれより瞑想状態に入る
結局寝るわけか。
Yeah! Oh, and then he gets slapped awake. What? Single person. It was so bad. Yeah, it was really bad. I can't lie. The lackadaisical noontime ended up giving way to mind-numbing afternoon classes. Rebounding from yesterday's hunger, I ate too much for lunch today, leaving me in a horrible condition. So this is the next day? Oh no, was this yesterday because he was...
さすがに食いす
Excuse
ぎ
me.
た
Okay, no, because yesterday was when he had the soup day. No, curry day. Or that's what it was, curry. Don't forget your video. Yeah, when it reaches you'll see the pause point. You'll see the pause point.
午後の授業は答える
Like when it's it's gonna do a big transition.
ケイチくん、今日はなんだかすごい食欲だったもんね。
Just spinning yarns. How am I spinning yarns?
基本的にいつも大食いだけどさ、今日はなんか格別だったね。
昨日は俺昼飯抜きだったろそのひもじさが染みついちゃってさ
I see.
今度は逆にいくら食っても食欲が底なしっていうか
わかるよわかるよ。しかしケイちゃんってさ、いつもお弁当きれいに食べるよね。ご飯一粒も残さないっていうか。
That's crazy. I don't know. I have this habit for me where I leave let's say 5% of my food always. Like usually a lot of people when they eat they clean their plate entirely. I can't do that. No matter how hungry I am, I always leave 5% of my meal on the plate. I don't know why. It's just a habit I have. Did you know that there's a Batman comic that's so insane I can't describe it in a fun fact? I feel like there's a lot of them like that, no?
食べ物ってのは作ってくれた人に感謝して食べるもんだぜ残したら苦労して作ってくれた人に失礼だろ
Whenever I do that, I worry the food is sad, everything else was eaten and it wasn't. I think the opposite. I think that the food is, yeah, that's what I was wondering. The food, sees its brethren being eaten in front of it, and then it's traumatized as it's being thrown away. It went through the ordeal of seeing, its, family and everything get eaten in front of it, and those that live now has to live with survivor's guilt. That they're the ones that made it, but now they, rot away and slowly get eaten out by bacteria. That's how I imagine it. That's Sausage Party the movie, yeah. I never watched it, but yeah, it is like that, I think. He meets Adam West Batman and gets his utility belt and meets the Batman Beyond from cartoon. He gets a robot arm, fights Undead Joker across the multiverse. But that's a pretty cool fun fact. You're much more imaginative. No, I think I'm a bit more crazy. I'm not sane. I don't think a sane person thinks of what I came up with. Man, yeah. I think a sane person is more likely to come up with something that you do. But I don't know, it is still an imaginative thing because I don't think normal people think about food like that. No, I'm not calling you basic. I'm saying that you are much more normal than me. Just because you're normal does not mean you're basic. There we go. And uses bat shark repellent on a giant Joker shark at the end of reality. Does Joker turn into a shark?
ケイちゃんってさ、
You can be uniquely basic. But you can also be normally unique. Think about that one.
パッと見ワイルドでいい加減そうなんだけど、結構律儀だよね。しつけがいいというか。
あ、うん。それはレナも思うな。
Wow, did you come with that on your own? Yep. I don't think, you really think anyone else can come up with that deep of a message?
ケイチくんって見かけよりずっと優しい人だよ。
Both of them were probably trying to compliment me, but I had a strange feeling I wasn't being complimented at all. No, it's a guy called Red Mask who's trying to become the Joker of his reality, and someone made a Joker shark.
そんなことないって。
He made the shark breathe in Joker gas? And did that turn the shark?
見かけと中身は大違いってそう言いたいんだよ。
I'm sorry. I'm never gonna not point this out. She read his mind here again. This isn't even she just read his mind again.
それが褒めてねって言ってんだよ。
こら、園崎さん、前原くん、授業中ですよ。
No, she was replying to Rena? No, she's not. Wait, Casey? Yeah, look, no. Both of them were probably trying to compliment me, but I had a strange feeling that I wasn't being complimented at all. That's not true. I just wanted to say there's a big gap between your appearance and your personality.
園崎さんはどこまで進みましたか？ノートを持ってきてください。
Yeah, but then why? I wanted to say there's a big gap between your appearance and personality. She's not replying to Rena here. Startled, Mion vocalized a rather easy to understand utterance. She was so enthralled in the conversation she had stopped working completely.
まあ。
He has the okay. He has the power to create jokers. I see. So he created the Joker army then?
そこそこに。 さっきから全然進んでないじゃ
You're
ない
really
ですか。
stuck on this mind reading thing. Yes, I am. Because it's so obvious. It comes up every 2 seconds.
最上級生なんだからもっとしっかりしないといけませんよ。
That Mion looks like she's getting lectured. Poor bastard.
人は見かけによらないっていうことだね。むしろ見かけとは逆が誠かもしれないよ。
面白いこと言うじゃねえか。
Responding to Rena's seemingly profound statement, I turned to my gaze where Satoko was happily studying together with Rika-chan.
あの生意気盛りのサトコも実は見かけとは逆にすげえ塩らしい
It
っての
seems
かよ。
confusing, Indie Man. If I went by what Rena said literally, then that would be the case. I could hardly imagine Satoko being the meek and gentle like a little girl in some fairy tale.
最近はあんな感じだけど、ちょっと前までは違ったんだよ。すごい甘えん坊で、いつも。
Dude, why is that Mion shrug thing you sent, by the way? She looks like a zombie. She has no, like the, what is it, pupils. It's just the white. Like, she looks like a zombie in this picture.
さとこちゃんには内緒ね。
Yeah, I'm able to hover over it and, like, look at the bigger one, though.
あのサトコが甘えん坊？
For Satsuko to play coy, I think that would have to be some part of some calculated plot. Even if she was to hide behind someone, I wouldn't think it was because she was attached to them. But since it came up, I tried to imagine a gentle, coquettish Satoko.
Oi, Satoko.
We're really imagining this. Okay.
何ですのお兄様。
Satoko smiled cutely and walked towards me. By the way, for every 3 steps forward Satoko took, for some reason I took 3 steps away.
お兄様、なんで逃げますの？
すまん、サトコ。お前が愛想笑いして近づいてくると、何かの罠のような気がするんだよ。
Why is he imagining this? Why are we going into the imagining of this? It's confusing to understand who's talking sometimes. I can imagine. Yeah, even here, like when I scroll back up, it's hard to tell when it's like thinking and just speaking.
ひどいですわ。お兄様の意地悪。
ごめん。別に悪気があったわけじゃないんだ。
What is this imagination, Keiichi? The weeping Satoko came closer to me. I'm a sucker for tears. Click. Clank. Huh? A bear trap! My leg was being clamped down on by jagged metal teeth.
かかりましたわね。続けていきますわよ。
Satoko raised her right arm triumphantly, and traps began to trigger one after another. Oh, nice imagination, Keiichi. Suddenly, the wall sprang forward, throwing me 3 blocks away. And there I saw a giant metal ball covered in spikes hurling towards me. On top of that, in the direction the ball would knock me, was a giant guillotine.
よくわかんないけど、ケイチくん、今すっごく突拍子もない想像してなかった？
Yeah, Rena.
いや、別に。全然してないぞ。
嘘だ。トゲ付き鉄球に潰されるって顔してたよ。
How could my expression convey... yeah. Another mind reading thing. What can I say? How could my expression convey what I was thinking like that?
塩らしいサトコの想像ってのは
Sorry for the tangent. I mean, there's a lot of really interesting Batman stories. I don't know a lot. I've always thought comics would be cool to get into, but it's so wide, it's so vast. It's really difficult to, you know, to get into. So I just never did. But I think comics are cool. I'm enjoying the Absolute DC series. I recommend them. I've heard of the Absolute series. What is the world? Yeah, what is the Absolute universe? I guess. Yeah. What am I saying? What is the Absolute universe? Yes, there we go. Next, I look over at Rika-chan, who is working diligently on some kanji drills. He's a pretty fairy. Yes, he is, Dianea. He's ascending. He's laughing and he's ascended to the skies. There are new origins and a new world with a new beginning. Oh, okay. Batman's not rich. Oh, yeah, okay, yes, I was, being told about this by someone. He's like a construction worker or something, right? And then Albert is like a government agent or something. If Rika-chan came at me saying, Oni-sama, I'd hug her. Tightly. I could get used to that.
ケイチくんよだれ。
あ、ごめん。じゃあ、リカちゃんはどうだよ。あれも見かけによらないってのかよ。
Saying that out loud, I felt a tinge of doubt. Was Rika-chan really all sweet? Despite her appearance, she really was quite sly. Sweetly, how do you put it? Evading things deftly?
確かにリカちゃんは、ただ可愛いだけじゃない気がするな。確かに見かけによらないぞ。
I couldn't put exactly what I was imagining into words, but then I managed to say what I wanted to. She turned to me with an impish look in her eyes, like she was saying, I shouldn't say something
リ
like
カちゃ
that.
んはきっと大きくなったらね、すっごい美人になって、男の人を振り回す小悪魔のような女性になるんじゃないかなって思うんだ。そういうのかっこよくない？
Rena said that lightheartedly. As a man, I couldn't laugh at that. The scary part about that was that it felt like it could be true. Noticing my gaze, Rika-chan turned towards me and let loose with an angelic smile. Both Rena and I, feeling as if it was directed towards us personally, had our hearts skip a beat. Noticing my... Yeah, I know.
レナ、話。
Appearances can be deceiving, huh? Well, then, what about our dear leader, Mion? I stared at her as she tried to weasel her way out of scolding by the teacher. By Rena's theory, that unrefined, calculating, conniving Mion also had a side of her that bellied appearances. But yeah, I know they still have their powers in some way or another, right? Even though it's not like their actual powers, they have some way of... Yeah, changing how it works. Yeah, but they still keep, like, some semblance of them, I think.
じゃあなんだよ。あのミオンも見かけによらず、実はいいやつだって言いたいのかよ。
Are you saying she's a bad person now?
みーちゃんはいい人だよ。
あ、まあ、そりゃそうだけどさ。そういう意味じゃなくて、その。
ケイチくんの言いたい意味。わかるよ。
Catching on that I was struggling to express my feelings as words, Rena smiled even more
わかる
brightly.
って何がだよ。
みーちゃんって不思議でしょ？女の子なんだけど、男の子みたいっていうか。
That's right. Mion was more than aware that she was a girl, but it was exactly as Rena said. When Mion livened up the mood, it wasn't as though she felt like a guy or girl specifically, but a friend of the same gender.
あいつが男だったら、きっと意気投合するだろうな。
But a more uncontrollable version of the speed he must learn. Oh, okay.
で、そりゃ今と同じか。ははは。
でもね、そんなみーちゃんも本当はすっごく女の子らしいんだよ。
レナ、お前ミオンにいくらもらったんだよ。
違うの。もうちゃんとした話をしてるんだよ。みーちゃんは部活の部長さんだからみんなのリーダーとして頑張ってるけど、本当はとっても可愛い女の子なんだよ。それ特にケイチくんには忘れてほしくないな。
So this is, I guess, like, I still think that Shion exists. I don't think that she's a figment or, like, it's Mion that's a, you know, alternate ego. I think, or alter ego. I think it is another person. I still believe that. Rena's gaze focused off into the distance beyond where Mion was. That Mion I met at Angel Mort was unimaginably different compared to the Mion that I normally knew. Flustered and hesitant from the unfamiliar job, it was a far cry from the brash and confident Mion. Even though she had to hurry to work, she went through all the trouble to bring me food when I was on the brink of starvation. And she did so not as Mion, as Shion. What exactly was Shion to Mion? What kind of person was Mion exactly?
多分ケイチくんには想像つかないと思うな。
I don't really want you to forget that. Okay, she probably couldn't even begin to imagine. I don't know. Mion, finally free from the teacher's preachings, returned to her seat, cradling her head to hide her embarrassment. I haven't started Superman or Green Lantern yet, so I don't know much more. Superman would be interesting, considering he's, you know, meant to be Superman. Like, the superhero, the most powerful. Like, obviously he's not the most powerful, but, like, you know, he is a hero's hero. Who, like, does everything. So I'm interested to see how they do that for the Absolute Universe.
おじさんはね、人生に必要な勉強は小学校までで十分だと思ってんだよ。
He's the most powerful? Is that true, Diana? Where does Superman scale to? Saying that, she plopped down in her seat violently. You know, I got some power scaling stuff in my my TikTok. and I opened up the comments, and it was just people arguing about the thing in the power scaling. I can't remember what it was. Oh, it was like Gojo versus these universes, and it was like, you know, it was like Gojo versus like Zenless Zone Zero, and versus like all these gacha mobile games. And people were just arguing about it. And I don't know, I was just reminded of Dianea, how she talks about how, yeah, it's all just arguing, and why she just like why you don't want to engage with the community that much anymore. Who the hell cares about gacha? Well, that's what Mino's actually really feminine. Right. I wonder if I can meet Shion again. I wanted to talk to her again. But could they beat Goku? Yeah, it seems like that's a common thing. Clang clang. The principal waved around the bell that served as the school chime. The teacher rushed back to the blackboard and began to list everybody's homework assignments.
今日は宿題が結構出そうだね。頑張らないと。
じゃあさ、レナもってことか？
何がかな？
Oh, yeah.
人は見かけによらないって話、レナもってことになるのか？
Yeah, it does.
ケイチ君にはレナのことどう見えるかな？
The Rena Ryugyu that I knew sometimes took things too far, but was generally a kind and gentle ideal girl.
本当にだったら、
Yeah, another mind reader.
嬉しいかな？
They're all mind readers. Like, it's, yeah. Yeah. I'm just gonna say mind reader and move on. That's what I'm gonna do from now on. If she was the opposite of what she seemed, that would make her...
逆なのだとしたら？
Just try saying it. I wouldn't be mad. That's what I felt she meant.
レナは、
レナは？
逆になっても、レナだよ。だろ？
This question shouldn't have been so nerve-wracking to answer. Maybe it was because the person in question was staring at me, but... Even saying that took a strange amount of effort.
ずるいな、ケイチ君。そんな言い方されちゃったら気になっちゃ
I
う
don't
よ。
know much about Goku either, but I know a lot of people say like Goku's like the strongest being ever in fiction. That they say that a lot, right? But it's not true. Perhaps unable to endure my silence, Rena's face began to burn red with embarrassment.
レナ、ケイちゃん、帰ろ帰ろ。
Mion walked over and started getting ready to go home. Whenever school is over, she really does get noticeably more energetic. It was the same relaxing walk home as always. Digging around my pocket on a whim, I noticed something that should have been there was missing.
どうしたのケイちゃん。
Oh, and it's the eclipse of the biggest villains that rules the world secretly. The Justice League? Really? Huh.
いつも持ってるはずのうちの鍵がないんだよ。
That's funny that it's called the Justice League then.
参ったな。どこにやっちゃったかな。親はいるから今日はいいけど、まずいよな。
それは困るね。忘れてきたの？それとも落としちゃったのかな？
Who's Accelerator? Which one was it? Did I take it with me this morning in the first place? Huh.
ケイちゃん、その鍵の特徴は？
キーホルダーがついてる。昔夏休みの宿題で作らされたやつで、青いオットセイなんだよ。
あれ？目をつぶった感じでお昼寝してるみたいなやつ？
なんで知ってるんだよ。そうそう、それだよ。
Mion looked away and began to whistle.
さ、おとといケイちゃん、エンジェルモートに食事に行ったでしょ。その晩さ、お店で鍵の落とし物があったんだよ。それにオットセイのキーホルダーがついてた。
As she said that, she suddenly grew flustered and added that Shion had told her about it.
あの時に落としちゃったのか。
で でも見つかってよかったね。
Wait, so this was a few days ago and you just realized it, Keiichi? You went to school yesterday and then came back home and you entered your house. How did you not know? How did you not realize it then? Or like any other time before that? Oh, okay. Okay, it was the strongest, like, person, right? In Index? In that universe, I think? Okay. Is the Justice League because they believe their twisted status quo is justice, how things are supposed to be. Okay.
お店がきっと預かってくれてるよ。
So do they work together, or are they just like, are they a league? Like, actually, they're a team, or they just, like, created this and they don't actually work together?
そうだね。言ってみなよ。シオンの顔、私と同じだからわかるでしょ。
This was a rather unexpected development. Once again, I had no choice but to go meet with Shion. But I'd also thank her for the bento yesterday. Besides, taking some time and chatting with this other side of Mion might be interesting. Half jokingly, I began to think about things
そう
like
だ
this.
な。エンジェルモートだっけ？シオンの店に行って鍵を返してもらって、ついでにお茶でも飲んで優雅に過ごすってのも悪くないな。
なんだか英国紳士みたいだね。ケイちゃんには似合わないかも。
ひょっとしてそのお店かな。みーちゃんの妹の働いてるお店は。
ああ、なんならレナも一緒に行くか。
ちょっと残念だけど、今日はお父さんと約束があるから。
I wonder if we'll meet her parents eventually.
またの機会にするね。
Yeah, he's the first ranked Esper of the level 5 Espers in the city, level 5 being the top level, and there being only 7 level 5s in the city. Okay. But just in that city, right? So, like, what about the rest of the world, or just country, I guess? Yes, to maintain the status quo. Okay. Rena seemed pretty disappointed about having to miss such a great opportunity.
双子だそうだけど、そんなにそっくりなのかな。間違えるくらい？
ああ、そっくりだ。外見だけはそっくりだ。中身はミオンと違っておしとやかで実に可愛らしいのにな。
In response to my teasing, Mion pouted and began to argue with me. I couldn't help but burst out laughing at Mion's little farce. After all, they weren't just identical, they were the same person. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. After going home, I changed my clothes and dug my bike out of the garage. Just thinking that I'll be able to meet Shion again gave me a mysterious feeling. Shion, a name for a different kind of Mion. She was a mysterious and ridiculous person, believing she had fooled everyone like that. Okay, before I continue from here, let's watch a video, Indie Man. I think this is probably a good place to do it because we're like kind of swapping scenes here. Let's watch your video and then I'll do the cat. I guess we could do the cat after. Oh wait, it's this game. Yes, I remember when you sent me this game before, Indie Man. Yeah, I remember liking this art style. I'm commenting it was very similar to Paper Mario. Looks cool. So you got to play the demo? Did you play the demo before, or did it come out recently? No, we're waiting. Okay. Academy is the cities where they live is the only city with espers. They're 30 years. Oh, okay. So if it's a scientific thing of why they, of how they get powers or whatever, I guess, how is it decided who gets what power? But you see, the League members are quite powerful. I can imagine. Okay. Oh, it's different because it's a storybook thing. Okay, that's cool. Okay. So yeah, there'd probably be a lot of storybook stuff. All right. Next joke, everybody. Later this month, yeah. All right. Let me get my deck of cards out. Someone made a joke about my three-legged cat. It was a major faux pas. Okay, well, that's really interesting. I noticed that I was pedaling along quite happily. Could it be that I was looking forward to meeting Shion? Felt a sense of giddy anticipation, like I was headed towards a new friend's house for the first time. What Ren said about Mion actually being really feminine sprang to mind again. The guilt from spying on another side of Mion, self-conscious from being the only one that knew about that side. These feelings mixed together. That was Shion for you, Mion's little twin sister. Unless she felt like coming out and admitting she was Mion, it was fine to just call her Shion, right? Mion might be trying to have some fun by acting out a different persona. As I reached the top of the steep hill, the horizon expanded before me. I was almost at the station. The last time I wasn't embarrassed since I was here with Dad, but this time I was alone. I was strangely self-conscious about it. Meet Shion, get my key back. That was all this task was supposed to be. If I dolled around like this, maybe Shion would find me before she headed in for work. From what I remember, it's kind of randomly picked. They're just given drugs and put through experiments until the Esper's power manifests. Oh, okay. What are the League members' powers, Indie Man? I didn't ask about it. Hey, what are you doing, Keiichi Maebara? You're just here to get your key back, you know? It's not like you're in not some love-struck schoolboy here to hand out over a love letter. The thoughts in my head were slowly turning into a jumbled mess. I came to the realization that I was downright giddy. That's why, for just a bit, just a tiny little bit, I got a little carried away and did something really stupid. I kicked over a parked motorcycle that was blocking the sidewalk. It was in the way, sure, but there was absolutely no need for me to kick it. I definitely think I got too carried away. As the three bikes toppled over one after another like dominoes, the loud noise they caused snapped me back to my senses. The owners of those three bikes were right there. They looked exactly like what you'd call thugs up to no good. They lifted their heads up in an opposing manner and yelled angrily in a way that I had never heard before. The three of them beelined towards me, the worn-down heels of their thin-soled shoes slapping noisily against the pavement. I could only stare listlessly, as if I were watching some far-off event that didn't concern me at all. By the time I realized it, I had been grabbed by the collar and lifted onto my tiptoes. The three thugs were completely ignoring the rules of grammar, but the way they spoke was enough to make me tremble. Just like that, my composure drained away. My legs buckled and my throat grew dry enough to crack. I was completely at fault, so there was nothing I could say in my defense. As a result, I was pulled even higher. The three of them continued to yell at me. I had no idea what each of them were saying. Getting further enraged that I was the only one listening, I was only listening while dumbstruck, they grabbed an empty plastic crate from a nearby store and began to smash it repeatedly against a telephone pole. Cracks formed in the crates, plastic shards flying everywhere. Then they slammed it full force into the shuttered storefront. Smash. Smash. The shutter let out a frighteningly loud noise. Still not satisfied, they flipped over a case of empty cans, scattering its contents all over the place. This was not normal. It was something you saw often on television or in manga, but I never thought seeing it in person would be this terrifying. The method of Esper power is called personal reality. Basically, their brains reinforce their own reality that make it possible to manifest into the real world. The novel is going into extreme detail on how it works. Okay. I see. Also, my voice is starting to give way. I can feel it. So, whenever we get to a save point, I'll probably be stopping there for today. I became painfully aware that the safety of the civilized society was only held up by such a frail concept as morals. My knees clattered together noisily. Static began to pepper my vision. This is what you would call absolute terror. There's nothing I could do to stop this frightening spectacle of violence. I could only pray for help. The fear I felt was just too much. Somebody help me? My gaze floundered about the surrounding area. I was surrounded by these 3 hoodlums. No way would there be a passerby brave enough to intervene. Maybe this is what you call reaping what you sow. If I were a passerby, there would be no doubt I'd just ignore what was going on. It was somewhat of a cosmic retribution. Angrily yelling loud enough to rattle my eardrums, spewed forth right in front of my face. My waning consciousness was forcibly dragged back to the forefront. The thug had cocked back his free hand and twisted his body when suddenly a metallic taste filtered through the back of my throat. A chill ran down my spine like a jolt of electricity. Seeing what was going to happen next, I squeezed my eyes shut as tightly as possible and grit my teeth.
やかましいよクソボケどもが。私の目の黒いうちに失せな。
That voice was a short distance away, still holding me by the collar. Like, yeah, even her, like, this voice, it sounds different. So it's a different voice. Like, it's not Mion. Still holding me by the collar, the 3 thugs spun around to look behind them. Standing there was Mion. She stood there, displaying an imposing stature that I'd never seen before. She didn't have the same look on her face as she did when we were playing around during club. Those were the eyes that would instill fear into anyone who looked upon them. The eyes of a raptor. So, why did the scientists experiment on the people in the first place? Are they, like, yeah, you said they're randomly picked. Why, but, like, they're just picked from a lottery within the city? Or how are they picked randomly, you know? Like, is it, like, you have to fall within a certain area? Or something else? They're the epitome of terror. At the same time, they are the most reassuring things in the world.
もう一度だけ言うよ。ケイちゃん話してとっとと失せな。
Mion, without an ounce of fear, laid down her ultimatum. Of course, there's no way those 3 wouldn't go absolutely berserk. The situation instantly turned explosively dangerous. Stop it, Mion. These guys are like rabid dogs. No amount of bluffing will work.
ミオン、危ないから早く。
I knew what I was saying was pathetic. But I couldn't let Mion get involved in this. No matter how you looked at it, Mion was only bluffing. But did Mion even know the meaning of the word bluff? However, the reason behind everything soon became apparent. They were slowly increasing in number, little by little. At first, it was only businessmen on their way home stopping to take a look. Then it was housewives in the middle of shopping to take a gander. Next, what seemed like the owner of some store showed up, and it was pretty clear he wasn't just looking. Around Mion, there were already about 7 people gathered. It felt different than people coming out to support a friend. If I had to say why, it was because the group that gathered was diverse in age and gender. The 3 thugs seemed to slowly realize that there was something strange about the situation. Behind them at some point, 4 more people of differing clothes and ages had gathered. A girl who looked to be in middle school, a man wearing a bakery apron, an old lady in house cleaning smock. More and more people of various ages. Their gazes, comparable to Mion's, were of hostility, of intimidation. Before I realized it, over 10 people had formed a ring around us. At that moment, 5 elementary schoolers ran in and joined the circle. There were some familiar faces, some of our classmates. Then these people were residents of Hinamizawa? More and more people from Hinamizawa gathered around. In obvious contrast, the residents of Okinomiya were passing by as quickly as possible. Why are they all in Okinomiya? The group surrounding us has suddenly swelled to around 20 people. Completely encircled the faces of the thugs and began to show the first signs of panic. Nobody spoke a word, Mion included. That made everything completely unnatural, and depending on which side you were on, completely terrifying. Only the thugs' voices echoed out like they were screaming. Somebody took a step forward, closing the gap between them. As they did, everyone else took a step forward, shrinking the circle. The hoodlums went pale as they were pushed together, back to back, while still yelling angrily. They were trying to string together vulgarities, but for some reason it sounded like they were crying out for help.
It
was sudden. A solidly built officer cut his way through the crowd. At some point, 2 police cars had arrived. Some passerby had undoubtedly called for them. Several burly officers appeared from inside the second vehicle.
おまわりさん、いいところに来ました。恐喝の現行犯です。捕まえてください。
Mion, returning to her usual self, was nonchalantly pointing out the hoodlums to the police. Of course, the thugs were furious, but now that it had come to this, there was nothing that they could do. It was their loss.
わかったから。ちょっとおいで。いいから。
The officers handcuffed the thugs and dragged them towards the patrol cars.
んだよ。話せよ。俺らが被害者なんだよ。聞いてんのか、畜生。
No matter how much of a ruckus they caused, the officers paid no heed. In the blink of an eye, they were crammed inside the 2 vehicles. They could still be heard yelling while inside the police cars, but what they were saying was no longer intelligible.
大丈夫ですか?
Okay! Uishi-san. Oh, really? 80% being students. The city's closed off from the public. No one can go. Okay. So they end up fighting as well? Within the city? And it's like... They... let that happen?
お怪我ありませんか?
He was probably a detective. The man leading the police peered at my face.
別に。
それは不幸中の幸いでした。では、良いお年を。
The portly man, after taking a quick look around, addressed the
市
crowd.
民の皆さんの迅速な通報に感謝します。住民の皆さんの連帯のおかげで、今日も街の平穏が保たれています。
How can you tell he's a detective and not just a I guess like the way he looked, the way he dressed is the way? Maybe? I don't know.
お仕事ご苦労様です。大石刑事殿。
Oh, she knows
住
Uishi.
民を代表して日頃の公務に感謝いたします。一家の刑事がわざわざこんなところまでおいでくださるとは光栄の極みです。
The way Shion talked didn't have a very pleasant tone. Oh, so she doesn't like him either.
偶然です。県警の帰り道に無線連絡が入りましてね。寄り道したわけです。
お仕事頑張ってください。今後のご活躍を切に祈っております。
What is this laugh that he's doing? He never did this before.
でも、怪我人が出なくて本当に良かったです。
Oh, so he's probably sus of her, which is why he stepped in as well.
おいさー
Oh, it's Kuma guy.
行きましょうではでは、良いお年を。失礼。道を開けてもらえますかな
The detective named Uishi, after jovially making pleasantries, lumbered over to the waiting police car. He quickly set off, disappearing down the city streets. It was over so quickly. So quickly, I was dumbstruck. I didn't even get to ask the officer what was going on. It was like they came here quickly to disperse the mob before any trouble could start. After making sure the police cars had left, Mion snapped her fingers sharply.
おっしゃ一丁上がりだね
The overarching conflict of the series is that there's a secret magical organization on the world. There's an underlying tension between the science and magic side. Yes, there can be infighting in the city. The city's laws are enforced by two security forces. One led by volunteer military adults with no esper powers, and another group made up... Okay, so there's magic and the science. But the city that you're in is specifically science-focused?
おととい来やがれっての
That was the signal. The tension melted away in an instant as everybody began smiling. The middle-aged man helped me up. Yeah, basically.
大丈夫
Okay.
かい前原の坊や今度からは喧嘩は相手を選んでやりな
Oh yeah, wait. This is the same thing that happened last time where they were able to communicate telepathically or something. And they were able to take over other people. I forgot. Yeah, that did happen in the end of the first chapter. So are they able to... Maybe it's not mind reading. They're somehow able to link their minds like a hive mind. It's like every mind is one. Isn't it the same thing like the new show that came out? Was it Pluribus? Pluribius? I don't know what it's called, but it's similar to that, isn't it?
別に喧嘩ってわけじゃ。
怪我とかしてない？頭とかぶつけてるならレントゲンを取っておいた方がいい
Dude,
わ
okay,
よ。
it's not. I don't think it's that bad. An older lady I didn't know the name of was concerned about my injury.
たまたま駅前で人通
These are
りの多
probably
い
all
時間だっ
characters
た
that
か
are
ら
gonna
こ
show
れ
up
だ
later.
け集まれたけど次からは気をつけるんだよ。最近の町もんは物騒なんだから。はあ、まったく。
I was even warned by the old lady in the smock. As Shion finished applauding the dispersing group for their efforts, she strode over to me.
いやいやケイちゃんもやるじゃないでも私も相手を選んだ方がいいと思いますけどね
サンキューな、ミオ。助かったよ。
だから私シオン
She made a troubled expression as she turned her gaze downwards, blushing in embarrassment.
お姉に聞いてますよオットセイの鍵あれケイちゃんのですって
あ、うん、そうだった。
When did they get a chance to speak? Because I thought the entire thing was that she lived in a different house than her, so they didn't get to speak ever.
これからお店に行こうとしてたんだった。
それで浮かれててあんな変なのに絡まれちゃってたんですか
Now it was my turn for my face to go red. I didn't want to admit that she was spot on.
まあ、ついてなかったよ。でも、シオンのおかげで助かった。
お礼はいらないですよだからケイちゃんも他の人がいじめられてるのを見つけたらきっと助けてあげてください私たちそういうのをとても大切にするから
Okay, that's fair. I was well versed in that scent of camaraderie. But the way I was rescued just now, something seemed a little off about that. While I was helped out, it was honestly to an almost disturbing degree.
お店来ますよね疲れちゃっただろうから一服しませんおごりますよ
Seems that she caught the glimmer of suspicion in my eye. Without waiting for my answer, Shion began walking. This is like the halfway point? Or is this the end for now? No, it is like the halfway point. Holy, okay. After cooling off a bit inside the restaurant, little by little I realized I was still on edge. There were spots here and on my body that hurt, probably because I'd been so stiff with nervousness. Shion, who had changed into her uniform, brought over 2 glasses of iced coffee.
はいこれおごりのアイスコーヒーレジでこのチケット渡せば無料になりますからね
My patheticness really knew no bounds, but since she went through the trouble, I might as well take her up on the offer. Even though it had started out such a lovely day, I had to get carried away and do that stupid thing. I'd completely ruined it.
でも本当にさっきのは助かったよ。シオンが本当に頼もしく見えた。
私だって怖かったですよ。でも他ならぬケイちゃんのピンチだし、勇気出して頑張りましたってことです。
While a little embarrassed by what she just said, Shion made a show of folding her arms
Shion.
boldly.
本当にありがとうな。
I was thanking Shion, but I really wanted to thank Mion. Mion, really, thank you.
ほらほら、もう元気出してくださいよ。もしも恩義を感じるなら、今度はケイちゃんが他の誰かのために戦ってくださいね。例えば私がピンチになったら。
The magic side is aware of the science side, but pretty much a majority of the science side have no knowledge of the existence of magic. Only a few people, specifically Alistair, the main governing board leader. Okay. So... Huh. So how do you, the viewer, know about the magic side? Do you learn about it from the main character? Does the main character find out about magic?
きっと助けに来てくださいよ。
ああ、もちろんだ。約束する。
絶対ですから
Okay,
ね。
something's gonna happen, and he's going to have to save her, but it's like actually a bait or something? I don't know. Something's... This promise is definitely gonna play later, though. I can guarantee that. Taking advantage of my words, she seemed happy about my
ピ
promise.
ンチになったらケイちゃんが助けに来てくれるのか。早くピンチにならないかな。あ、やっと笑ってくれた。
She said as she smiled herself, poking me in the
元
cheek.
気のないケイちゃんなんて偽物もいいとこです。ほら笑って笑って。
くすぐったいってば。やめ。
Thanks to Shion's meddling, I finally cheered up a little. All the muscles in my body that had stiffened because of the incident finally began to relax a little.
元気出たらお腹とか空いてこないです？私お腹空いちゃいましたからホットケーキとか食べたいんですけど。
Through the main character who starts off the series meeting a sister nun of the church who's part of the magic side. Okay.
ケイちゃんも食べます？
I wanted to show a little restraint, but restraint wasn't really my thing. That's why I replied without
う
any.
まいんだろうな。俺、ホットケーキはかなりうるさいぜ。
安心してください。うちのホットケーキはかなり評判いいですから。
Shion ordered some pancakes from a nearby waitress. Wait, but you're a waitress. Is she sitting down with him now? But aren't you on the job? That's why you're wearing this uniform? Yeah, okay. I didn't even read this. An employee ordered from another. Yeah.
おいおい、そういえばシオン、今バイト中じゃないのか？
Okay, okay. Well, they're talking about it right now. Never mind. I should have just continued.
おじさんにね、私が不良に絡まれてるところを
Oh,
ケイちゃんが助け
but
て
it
く
was
れ
the
たって言
opposite.
ったら、ねぎらってあげろって。だから店長公認で OK です。
それ事実と正反対だぞ。いいのかな？
全然いいのです。
By the time the pancakes arrived, we had entered into a relaxed conversation. As the two of us ate pancakes, we livened the mood with some chit-chat about what was on TV, celebrities, that kind of thing. Hobbies, food, really nothing more than idle chit-chat. Talking together like this, I once again became conscious of Shion being a girl. Hey now, that's funny talk, Keiichi Maibata. Shion and Mion are the same person. If there was anything different between them, it was only whether or not Mion admitted she was Mion. Given that, how come our conversation was this different?
ケイちゃんってお姉のことを女だと思ってないでしょう。
そんなことはないよ。男だったら容赦なくどつき倒してる。
ケイちゃんとお姉が仲がいいのってそういうノンセクシャルな関係にあるって思うんです。それってなかなかできない羨ましい関係ですよ。
言ってる意味がよくわかんないが、まあ確かに女にしとくにはもったいないやつだよな。
あ、ケイちゃん、それ男女差別ですよ。
It's sexist? It would be a waste to treat her like a girl? What is that? Okay. Sure, that's sexist. Hearing the word sexist was cause for introspection. What was I prejudiced against Mion and Shion for? Mion was Mion. He was the best friend a guy could have, no reservations, and head and shoulders above me when it came to club activities. If I met her 5 years earlier, my life probably would have been a lot more fun. Of this, I had no doubt. And what about Shion? She was Mion's little sister, and it hadn't even been 3 days since we met. Her relationship was much more distant, as the only thread we had in common was that I knew her sister. And for Shion, it was the same. I was somebody that she met 3 days ago only because I was a friend of her sister's. The difference being Mion and Shion? Friendliness? Familiarity? Playing around with those unclear thoughts for a while, I'd stopped listening to Shion.
例えばですよ。聞いてます？
ああ、ごめん。聞いてるよ。
例えばですよ。私とお姉が共にピンチで、崖にぶら下がってるとします。ケイちゃんはどっちを助けます？
Oh?
どっちか一人だけですよ。
She wasn't saying it to tease me, but had a playful tone behind her voice.
嫌な問題だな。どっちも助けたいけど、それじゃダメなんだろ？
ダメです。シオンかミオンのどっちかだけです。どっちですか？
If it were Mion, I don't think she'd be in that situation in the first place, as it's something she could easily get out of herself. What about the normal frail Shion? I guess I'd have no choice.
お姉じゃないですよね。
If Mion and Shion were different people, I suppose it would come to that. Couldn't confirm nor deny it. She should have been smiling, but her gaze was locked firmly to mine.
つまり、そういうことなんですよ。お姉はそのつまり、あれすみません。なんか自分で言ってて破綻しちゃいました。
Shion was trying to talk in a light-hearted manner, but it felt like there was something more behind her words. Was Mion trying to tell me something through Shion? Not being able to put a finger on exactly what it was vexing. Shion, to hide her embarrassment, turned the conversation
それよ
around.
りも、さっきのあれ、驚きましたか？みんながどんどん集まってきて。
そりゃ驚いたよ。レナやサトコが駆けつけてくれるならともかく、あんなに老若男女がいろいろと集まってくるんだからな。あれ全部ひなみ沢の人なんだろ？
ええ、そうです。ひなみ沢の人はみんな結束してるんです
Yeah,
よ。
but how are they all in that exact location?
一人の敵は全員の敵。日和見なんか誰もしません。結構頼もしい住民性なんですよ。
誰かがいじめられたらみんなで結束してやっつけるわけか。なんだかマフィアとかヤクザみたいな結束だな。
Is it that much?
そんなこと言っちゃダメですよ。とてもありがたいことなんですから。ケイちゃんもそれに助けられたんですよ。
Depending on how much this goes, I might end at the next, like, fade to black type thing. So, we'll see.
感謝の気持ちを忘れないように。
Oh yeah, by the way, tomorrow I might not be streaming. We'll see what happens. But I probably won't be streaming tomorrow. I half-heartedly agree. I need full well I should be appreciative.
ひなみ沢の人たちって本当に仲が良くて結束してるんだな。
昔からの伝統かな。ひなみ沢って昔からいろいろと敗損の危機に遭うんですよね。その度に結束して戦って存続を勝ち取ってきたっていう歴史があるんですよ。例えばケイちゃん、ひなみ沢ダム計画って知ってます？
Did they tell us about the dam project? Yeah, no, they did. Because we went to the trash area. And they did tell us about the dam. But let's see what she tells us. Hinamizawa Dam Project. Let's see. I feel like I've heard somebody talk about it before.
10年くらい前にね、突然ここにダムができてひなみ沢が丸ごと水没するって話になったんですよ。
あ、そんな話親父かなんかに聞いたことがあるような。でもそれって確か中止になったんだろ？
中止にさせたんですよ。みんなで団結して。だからこれは戦って勝ち取った勝利なんです。
That sounded pretty much like the story I heard. The protests intensified to the point where it was featured in newspapers and magazines. As a result, the plan was suspended.
ダムの話そのものは私が生まれる前からあったらしいんです。
It was that long?
最初は候補地調査とか砂防のための小さいダムとかそんな程度の話だったんですよ。
But then the cat was let out of the bag. If it were completed, it would have been the biggest dam in Japan. Not just Hinamizawa, but several villages upstream would have been submerged as well. The protests immediately begun. Petitions to cancel or relocate the project were drafted and submitted to the Diet. Even went so far as to go to the Ministry of Construction in Tokyo to hand over a direct appeal to the minister. Previous landowners sued the government, stating that there were inconsistencies in the purchase agreement and the transaction should be nullified. Owners of yet unacquired land split their properties, increasing the number of landowners in order to stifle the project.
土地の買収なんていうお金の問題のうちは可愛かったんです。そのうち土地の強制収用をちらつかせるようになりましてね。その頃からです。機動隊とかの暴力行為が目立ち始めたのは。
機動隊って警察だろ？暴力行為なんてするのかよ。
殴りますよ。蹴りますよ。私も殴られたことありますし、この辺だったかな。皮が切れちゃったみたいで血がすごい出ました。
Saying that Shion indicated her temple by poking at it.
警察とかには？
Filing a complaint against the riot police for police brutality would seem kind of strange for some reason. Naturally, they wouldn't pay heed to something like that. They wouldn't be able to establish proof on who exactly hit you, and they could justify their actions by saying you were interfering with police
うちのばっ
duties.
ちゃ烈火のごとく怒り狂いましてね。それからがすごかった。もう全面戦争ですよ。こっちも座り込みで訴えるなんて生っちょろいことなんかしません。ガンガン攻めました。
First, in order to call attention to the government, they filed a temporary injunction in court. Then, in order to gain public support, they called in prominent scientists to state that Hinamizawa was a valuable nature preserve. They pressured the prefectural and municipal assemblies, saying that the prefectural governor ignored his constituents when he approved the project and demanded his resignation. They completely and thoroughly denounced him. Naturally, in Hinamizawa, a ferocious conflict, worthy of being called the Dam War, began. In order to suppress the police brutality, they coordinated with the network channels and exposed the violence of the riot squad members to the public. On top of that, they put together a special expose themed around the government repressing the citizens and aired it nationally. Yeah, this is so in-depth. This is ridiculously in-depth how much they're going here. It worked wonders. Following that, the SWAT teams had their hands cuffed. Day after day, the petitions and demonstrations continued. Propaganda was used to help garner support. The circle of support gradually expanded outwards from Hinamizawa. Either that bore fruit or the government finally decided against it. It was announced that the dam project was indefinitely suspended just a few years ago.
私たちにできることなら何でもしました。
Wait. So, it was suspended a few years ago. Was Satoko and Rika a part of these protests? If that's the case, they would have been like 8 or something. If even. Mion would have been 12. And I guess Shion as well. That means they punched a 12-year-old. A 12-year-old. 12, 13, something like that. And that's like generous estimate. Probably be less than that. Yeah, it seems like it.
村全部が一丸になって戦ったんです。あの時は必死だったけど、終わった今となってはいい思い出かな。村人たちの連帯感や団結心は今でも消えていないんです。
Shion said that as she focused off into the distance. I felt that those eyes weren't filled with anguish, but rather a sense of pride.
そういう連帯感っていいよな。なかなかないことだよ。世代を超えて地域で団結できるなんて。
私もそう思います。ダム計画は試練だったけど、それを乗り越えて得たものはとても大きいと思いますよ。
The fear I was feeling until now gradually began to fade, when people began to show up one after another while I was enraged with those thugs. I thought it was frightening. But now I felt from the bottom of my heart that I had been rude. The village prepared to defend their homeland to the death, the sense of solidarity that fostered. It might seem impudent to say this, but I was a little jealous. If I had been in Hinamizawa when the protest against the dam was going on, I might have been able to share in that sense of solidarity.
ケイちゃんは反対運動の時、ひなみ沢にいなかったから、村人たちの連帯感を実感できないかもしれないけど、みんなにはあるの。
It's really very different. Yeah, no, it went so in depth there. It felt like out of nowhere. It just explained like every single thing.
しっかりと。それはたとえ引っ越してきたばかりのケイちゃんに対してもね。
She couldn't have been more right. So many people got together to help me out when I just moved here, even though they were strangers whose names I didn't even know. A hot feeling began welling up inside of me. When I lived in the city, I didn't even know my own neighbors. I thought that was natural. But here, That was an absurd and pathetic thing. Even though I thought of them as strangers, all the other villagers viewed me as a comrade. Happiness and warmth. I was acutely aware of those feelings as they gradually welled up inside me.
園崎さん、店長がホール入ってほしいそうです。
A more senior waitress waved her hand and called out to Shion. It seemed like it was time for work.
はい、今入ります。すみません、もう仕事しないとまずいみたいです。
いいよいいよ。付き合ってくれてありがとな。楽しかったよ。
帰っちゃいます？
まあな。飯の時間には戻らないとお袋がうるさいし。
Wait, he just had pancakes and he's going for dinner? It seemed like Shion wanted to say something, but she swallowed her words. Like we hadn't talked enough, that kind of feeling. Looking at that expression, I regretted saying something that had disappointed Mion like that. I was about to say that I could stay for a little bit longer when Shion got up from her seat.
このチケットで払えば、ホットケーキ代も大丈夫ですから。
Yeah, except a lot of that kind of... Okay. Saying that, she showed me a coupon booklet as she tore out a few sheets and handed them to me.
便利でしょ？お給料の他にもらえるボーナスチケットなんですよ。
いいよ。
Pretty good.
ホットケーキ代くらい払えるよ。
おやおや、遠慮するなんてケイちゃんらしくないですよ。私がお姉だったら喜んでおごられるくせに。
She said as she laughed, gently stopping me from opening my wallet. Being told so with an encouraging smile really resounded with me.
園崎さん、すみません。レジ入ってください。あ、はい、今すぐ。
Later, today was... Why did you think that? Oh, okay, no, she said that. Saying that, Shion smiled one more time at me.
今日は本当にありがとうな。この恩は忘れないよ。
そう思うなら、きっと返してください。楽しみにしてますから。
After I said it, I realized I mistakenly called her Mion. I didn't know if she realized it or not. Oh, nighttime. Lazing around and watching television after dinner was part of my daily routine. Might seem like a waste at first glance, but you could say it was an important time when I was able to accrue knowledge of everything from politics to economics to various trivia. After dinner was valuable time, well spent while the brain was at its most supplied with nutrients.
バカバカ。東京タワーの方が高いに決まってるだろ。
Are you talking to yourself? Today I tested my knowledge of trivia by watching my weekly quiz show. Sitting in front of the television, I was able to get a lot of the answers right. I mean, that's definitely good to do that type of research. I think it definitely makes your game feel more realistic if that's what you're going for.
ケイチ、園崎さんから電話よ。
はいよ。園崎？ミオンか。
It was a little late for her to be calling. I had a bad feeling about this. I had a hunch it was something to do with club activities. She's probably going to inform me about what we were doing tomorrow. This was Mion we were talking about. She might even go as to say we're doing club activities right now. So hurry up and come over. By the way, it was 8 p.m.
もしもし。今から部活の野戦ってのは却下だぞ。
じゃなくて、その...
It was Mion, but it was a very un-Mion-like way of talking. Huh? Could it be?
ごめん。ひょっとしてミオンじゃなくてシオンか？
そうです。どうもこんばんは。夜分遅くにすみません。
For Mion, this would have been an ill-fittingly polite way of talking. But since it was Shion, it was natural. Even though they were both the same person. With a dry smile, I enjoyed that mysterious
いや
feeling.
別にいいよ。それより何の用だい？
ケイちゃんはケーキとかデザートとか甘いものは好きですか？
There was no way I hated them. I'm an unabashed
なら
glutton.
よかったです。
Wait. She knew what he said without even being there. Over the phone. How is she able... Okay. Like, I know I said I would just say mind reading, but this is a completely other level than I thought it would be. She doesn't even need to be, like, next to him.
実はですね、夏の新デザートコンテストってのがありまして。
Looks like they have a new dessert menu every season. So they're hiring taste testers for potential
エンジェル
desserts.
モートのデザートはかなり評判いいんですよ。モニターの募集もかなり倍率高いんです。それで担当直入な話、じゃーん。
じゃーんと言われても見えないからわからないけど。
そうです。そのモニターチケットがここにあるってわけです。もしも甘いものが嫌いじゃないならいかがですか？
Okay.
いかがですかって、つまりなんだよ。そのチケットで俺が新デザートを食い放題と、そういうわけなのか？
They say to beware of honey pots, but this is sweeter than any pot of honey. All you can eat free dessert? No
OK
way.
ならモニター当選者の末番に名前を書いておきますね。明日お店に来たら係の者に名前を言ってください。それで万事 OK ですから。
万事 OK って、それで食べ放題なのか？無料なのか？
ええ、無料です。結構ありますからお腹を空かせてくることをおすすめします。
Come hungry for desserts? I don't know if that's a good idea. This was a delectable opportunity. It was such a delectable opportunity, it was almost scary. This really was Shion, right? Wasn't Mion posing as Shion in order to bait me into a trap, was it? What am I saying? They're the same
は
person.
いはい、ケイちゃんの考えてることは分かってますよ。こんな美味しい話があるわけないって思ってるんでしょ？
ギク、いや、そんなことは全然。
お姉から聞いてますけど、つくづく嘘のつけない人なんですね。私、そういうの嫌いじゃないです。
Shion laughed with a voice that sounded a lot like how Mion would laugh.
下心ってわけじゃないんですけど、実は私、明日はちょっとバイトしたらすぐに終わりなんです。もしもご迷惑じゃなかったら、その後ちょっとご一緒してもらってもいいかなって思いまして。
へえ、明日のバイトはすぐ終わっちゃうんだ。
はい。だから、ケイちゃんがデザート食べながらのんびりしてるうちに終わっちゃうんです。
Okay, that's chill.
まあ、俺も特に用事はないし、多少付き合うくらいなら構わないよ。
So they're really like obviously we're getting some stuff with like Rena, like the group, like the club group, but they're really doing a lot of stuff with Shion this chapter, at least so
別
far.
にどこかに行くわけでもないです。夕涼みしながらお散歩でもできたらなって思ってるだけですから。
There was no reason for me to refuse. Out of courtesy, I might as well take her up on the
そういえば
offer.
ケイちゃんと私ってなんだか毎日会ってますよね。
言われてみればそうだな。
でも OK してもらえたおかげでまた明日も会える口実を作ることができました。
Huh? What was Mion saying?
ケイちゃん、なんだか声が裏返ってます。どうしたんでしょうね。
It wasn't a video phone, but you could tell I was beat
じゃあ
red.
明日きっと来てくださいね。それじゃあこれで失礼します。
あ、おやすみ。
Shion finished with what she had called to say, ended the conversation without any chit chat. When I returned to the living room after hanging up the phone, the TV was already off and my mom was sleeping in the rocking chair. Not feeling like turning the TV back on, I went back upstairs and returned to my room.
俺、シオンに世話になってばかりだよな。
She brought me a bento and saved me when I got involved with those thugs. She was supposed to be a different person so I could thank me on at school. Come to think of it, she'd probably just say she'd pass it on to her sister. I have to thank Shion directly. Tomorrow I'll have to repay her somehow. Is that the end of that? I think so. Okay. Oh my gosh, that was long. Let's go to the end. Okay, only one tip. We'll read this and then end it off. Reading tips. The Delinquent 3. Oh, okay, this is after.
で俺たちが逮捕されなきゃなんねえんだろうな。すっとらってんじゃねえ。話さんけこれ。
クマちゃん、腕を離してあげていいですよ。さささ、どうぞ
I
お
think
かけ
he's
にな
gonna
っ
say
て。
something like, yeah, you guys, we're not arresting you. We just needed to get you out of there because you could have died. The three people rubbed their arms painfully. Kumagai-kun and the others must have been squeezing them pretty tightly.
お兄さんたち誤解しないでくださいよ。別に逮捕したわけじゃないんだから。くまちゃん、冷蔵庫から冷たいの出してあげてください。お兄さんたちは泡の出る麦茶と出ない麦茶どっちがいいです？ん？
They plunked down on the reception sofa, and despite not yelling anymore, they still had dangerous expressions. What I'd give to be young
飲まな
again.
いなら私勝手に飲んじゃいますよ。失礼してピシッと。勤務中に飲むビールが一番美味しいですね。
As he downed the beer with glee, the three people exchanged glances, then finally reached out for their cans. They hadn't stopped being cautious. It was more like they didn't see a reason to refuse. They each opened their cans and began to drink the contents.
お兄さんたちはどっから来たんです？ここいらの人じゃないでしょう。
They looked at each other again, suspicious of whether they should tell
お
him.
兄さんたち大学生？お友達同士？バイクか何かで旅行中だったんでしょうかね。羨ましいなあ。家は近くってわけじゃないんでしょ？どっから来たの？大阪ですかな？
んなのどこでもいいだろ。
まあまあそう凄まないで。あのままいたらお兄さん方だってやばかったでしょ？
They seemed to recall the thrilling event from earlier. While they could understand getting surrounded by students or a gang or something along those lines, they would never have been surrounded by locals both young and old, both men and women before. It was easy to imagine how scared they must have been.
ここいらの人間ならどんな間違いがあってもひなみ沢の人間には手出ししないですよ。あそこの連中は特殊なんです。子供の喧嘩に親は出てくるな、なんてもんじゃない。一人をいじめたら、それこそ村中が総出でやってきますよ。いや、ほんと、脅しでもなんでもなく。
They couldn't argue against that. They themselves had been surrounded. They'd seen it with their own eyes. There was no doubt
ここ
about
いらじゃ
it.
ねえ。ひなみ沢の人間に睨まれたら、あっさり鬼隠しにあって消えちまうんです。もう、跡形もなく忽然と。お兄さん方、行方不明になったら誰か捜索願いを出してくれるご家族はいます？いないならまずいな。蒸発扱いですよ。
Even then, we got there soon enough that nothing happened. If we'd been late, things could have taken a turn for the worse. If they'd been forced into an alleyway, these young men wouldn't be sitting on a couch right now. They might be lying on an autopsy table. Well, probably not. Anyway, perhaps they'd be a little more cooperative if we found them as corpses.
お兄さん方、沖宮へは何で来たの？電車？バイク？
バイク。
そりゃまずいな。さっきのとこにまだ止めっぱなしなんでしょ？あんたらのこのことバイクを取りに戻ったら、今度こそ袋叩きに遭いますよ。
なんだよそれ。上等じゃねえか！
Calm down, calm down. Why are young people these days so quick with the shouting?
あんたらももう面倒ごとはごめんでしょう。バイクのナンバー教えてください。ここまで持ってきてあげますから。くまちゃん、交通課対策にゲート車を借りてきてください。
別にいいよ。自分たちで取りに行くからいいって。
あんたら本気で囲まれたいんですか。今度は警察間に合わないかもしれませんよ。
大丈夫だっつってんだろ。囲み上等で。
Wonder if we're gonna see what happens after.
おい、お兄さん方、あんたら今、泡の出る麦茶飲んだろ。エンジンかけてみろ。その場で飲酒取るぞ、こら。
汚ねえ。
警察が税金使って兄さん方のバイクを運びして死んぜよって言ってんだよ。ごちゃごちゃ言わねえで、ナンバー言えってんだ、このクソバカ野郎！
The three were hesitant to tell him the numbers. They were mumbling something along the lines of not remembering them since they just bought the bikes. Well, that's what I thought.
くまちゃん、 ゲート車に同行してバイク持ってきてあげて。ごつい赤いやつとテールランプの右側が割れたやつ。あとシートにガムテ貼ってあった白いやつ。それだろ。兄さんたちのバイク。
They didn't answer. Those must be the
お
right
いさん
ones.
ゲート車来ましたんで行ってきます。
はいはい、よろしくお願いします。あと、クマちゃん、ちょっと。
なんすか？
ナンバー紹介しといてください。間違ったバイクを持ってきちゃうと悪いから。
The three people's faces changed color. Made themselves very easy to understand.
バイク戻ってくるまでのんびりしてましょうよ。ビールもっとありますよ。乾き物だってありますし。テレビ見ます？ろくなのやってませんから
Dude,
ね。
okay.
いいよ、俺たちもう行くから。こんなとこにいつまでもいたくねえよ。
Alright. Suddenly, there were like 5 or 6 huge officers surrounding them. Their clearly overpowering stares nailed them to the sofa.
なんだよ。俺たちが何かしたかよ。
Going on a trip by stealing motorcycles, huh? Oh, they stole them. Okay. Why did the cat cross the road? Claws it wanted to. What a great joke. Thank you for that. It's so good! Going on a trip by stealing motorcycles, huh? Students these days have too much time on their hands. Alright. Perfect timing to finish as well. Or pretty good timing, I would say. Maybe not perfect, but I would say it's pretty good timing. Okay. I'll start in cat mode, I guess, next stream as well. To make up for you redeeming cat mode now. But yeah, okay. That'll be it for me for today. I'm gonna go sleep. And tomorrow, what happened before the interrogation? Shion saved us from getting ganged up by the mob. Then we went, like, we had a date basically, and then we're going on another date. That's like what's gonna be happening. That's basically the idea of what happened. Okay. That'll be it from me then for today. Interested to see where the Shion how do you say, Shion focused story is going, because we haven't seen much of the others, like, other than Shion. Like, the others do show up at the beginning, but then it's like only Shion, so yeah, we'll see what happens. All right, well, definitely glad to be back streaming. I'm not sure if I'll be streaming tomorrow, but from after tomorrow, like, yeah, so once tomorrow's done, after that I should be streaming every day, so we'll see. But yeah, thank you to everyone who stopped by. I appreciate it. I need to go rest my voice to sleep.